33 games, hundreds of hours of practice, and the playoff picture is decided today. The Union look to prep for the playoffs when they tussle with their biggest rival, the New York Red Bulls, next. It's decision day around Major League Soccer, and here in Chester on Fan Appreciation Day, the Philadelphia Union look to clinch a playoff spot for the first time in 5 years against rival New York Red Bulls. High atop the windy Section 113 at Talent Energy Stadium, welcome to Union Pregame Live. I'm Dave Leno.
And I'm Marissa Pillett. Dave, it certainly feels like playoff weather today, and to have the Red Bulls in town for the final regular season match for the Union, they wouldn't want to have it any other way. I talked to the team earlier this week, and they said this is exactly how they want to finish off the regular season against a rival. Brian Caro, in particular, said this is the perfect opponent right now. They can really gain some momentum right now playing a tough team. And he says it's always great to test yourself against the best, and it being a rival match as well, forget about it. They are so ready for today.
The Red Bulls are riding a gargantuan 15-game unbeaten streak. In fact, you have to go all the way back to July 3rd, a loss to New York City FC for the New York Red Bulls, who are steamrolling right now in the Eastern Conference. And as we take a look at the Xfinity Eastern Conference standing, the Red Bulls are at the top and essentially at the #1 seed, wrapped up due to the tiebreakers over New York City FC. In fact, out of all the clubs above the red line, the Union are the only team that has not officially clinched. Marissa, on that note, take us through the playoff clinching scenarios.
Well, there's a couple different options for the Union to take, all to get that elusive X next to their name. With a win or a tie today against the Red Bulls, they will clinch. Also, if New England loses or ties to Montreal, the Union will clinch. If the Union lose to Red Bulls and New England wins but does not make up that 11 goal differential that they had in between the Union will clinch. And if they do clinch, and once they do clinch, they have a couple different options as well as who they could play against in that knockout match, either Wednesday or Thursday night. If they finish in 5th, then they will be playing in D.C. Now, if they finish in 6th and the current order remains in the East, they will be playing in Toronto. And then if they finish in 6th and Toronto advances to 2nd, knocking NYCFC down to 3rd, they will be playing against NYCFC.
The Union this season, Marissa, fared well against DC United, who right now is unbeaten in the last 6 games. They're riding the hot foot of Patrick Mullins. New York City FC was another win as well. The only team that the Union had struggled a little bit against is Toronto FC with their 3-headed monster.
They're certainly not afraid of anybody. They've said it all year long. They never fear anybody, but they respect everyone. So there's a lot heading into today's match, and because of that, we're going to bring in our announcers for the game, JP Delacamera and Tommy Smith. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Our pleasure.
Now, we know the Union have been in a little bit of a rut, are winless in their last many matches. So what do they have to do today to create the momentum we've been talking about and really get back to their winning ways?
I think Marissa, Tommy, and I talked about this before we went on air. They need to create a spark, right? Somebody has to light that fire for this team because they've been close in a lot of these games but haven't been able to finish well.
Yeah, you just don't want to back into the playoffs. But the thing about the Union is they have created enough of opportunities in all of the games that I've seen. It's just a case of putting the ball in the back of the old onion bag. That's what they have to do with it.
Bradley Wright Phillips currently leads the MLS Golden Boot race with 23 goals. How does the Union limit his touches today?
Wow, that's a tricky question because Bradley
Wright the dressing room.
Oh, yeah, give me another one.
Okay,
that one doesn't work.
You can't do that. Okay, what you got to do is you got to make sure that he doesn't get behind you and you're in a foot race to try to get to the ball. You also got to close down the passing lanes to him. Don't let him get the ball to his feet. Those are 2 things, basic, but that's enough to keep him out of the game.
Yeah, Kleshton will be looking for him all game long, so Kleshton is another guy that you have to try to take out of the game if you can.
Oh, for sure. He's been a huge facilitator for them. But on the Union side, they have a lot of young guys out in the field today. So which one of the veteran presences are you looking forward to see them kind of assimilate and help them a little bit more on the team?
I think, Mercer, if I had to pick one veteran, I'm going to go with Alejandro Bedoya. He's supposed to wear the captain's armband today. And Tommy, while he doesn't have a lot of MLS experience, he has experience in very many big games.
Yeah, he's been in it before. He knows exactly what he's doing. And I would like to look at one of the younger players. I would like to look at Erbers and see what he does up front today, because this is a big task for him. And if he can go into the playoffs after 2 or 3 goals today, it'd be unbelievable for the Union. It would be great confidence for him.
For sure.
We'd all love to see that. Thank you so much, guys.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Marissa, now let's take a look at the season highlights against these rival New York Red Bulls beginning on June 29th. In the round of 16 U.S. Open Lamar Hunt game, here Mike Grelick got the scoring started on a beautiful ball right inside the penalty area, beating Andre Blake, but the Union responded in the 55th minute. Chris Pontius goes past Ryan Mayer for his first and hooks up with Elsinho yet again in the 60th for the Union to advance to the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup.
Then they met for the first time in league play a couple weeks later, again in Philadelphia. 27th minute, Red Bulls got out there really strong. Sasha Kleshtin puts this one past Andre Blake. The Red Bulls are up 1-0. They go again up 2-0 because of Sasha Kleshtin. They head into the half with that 2-0 lead, but the Union respond with this penalty kick from CJ Sapong. That helps the team build some momentum. Just moments later, Chris Pontius comes streaking through the box, gets the equalizer, 2-2 final. Now we all remember just a few weeks ago, October 1st, they were up at Red Bull Arena. Fabian Herbers got his third goal of the season to score a 1-0 lead for the Union, and then Sasha Kleshtin again in the middle. He gets it going for the Red Bulls. The game is tied at 1 apiece. Bradley Wright Phillips, Golden Boot contender, he gets away on this breakaway, a 2-1 lead for the Red Bulls, Dave.
And down 2-1, Fabinho finds Chris Pontius, who's really hot, riding a season like he did in 2012 with DC United, but there's the dagger. Dax McCarty from Sasha Kleshtin for the Red Bulls to win it 3-2 on October 1st. And today, McCarty's one of the players in particular that I'm looking out for from the New York Red Bull side, because they're going to look like they're going to build out of the back with him trying to feed Sasha Kleshtin, because Kleshtin in particular, Marissa, is getting time with the U.S. men's national team, now accumulating 50 caps, and he'll go in for that World Cup qualifying against Mexico as well in November. So those two guys will try to hook up with Alex Buell and Bradley Wright Phillips up top.
They just have so many options, Red Bulls, and the thing about them is that they are lethal on the through balls. We've seen that in those highlights that we just shown, that the Union really need to be conscious about cutting off those angles. They were burned by a couple through balls against Orlando last week, so really paying attention to that, making sure that their center backs aren't on islands all alone when their outside backs really push up forward. So they really need to keep an eye on those angles, because Bradley Wright Phillips, man, he has some speed. And with Josh Yarrow not playing once again, Ken Tribbett is back there. He doesn't have that quickness to really catch up real quick, so they need to play smarter, not harder.
And despite the Red Bulls 12 points clear of the Union, Chip Curtin's players understand that they have to go toe-to-toe against the Eastern Conference's best.
We just want a good performance, and I think that for confidence, that would go a long way to get a result against the top team in the East. And I think that can build a little bit of momentum moving forward. And again, it's a challenging game for us, and it'll be at a high tempo, and it'll be at a playoff atmosphere.
Rival games are always fun, and if we do what we do what we do best, it's gonna reflect well into the postseason.
It's a big step for this club, and we want to go in feeling good, playing well, have the right mindset, the positive attitude, and really looking to build on what we've accomplished over the course of this season.
Once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. Almost everything that's happened before that is thrown out, and anybody can go and take it. So enjoy it. Realize that the work that we put in there was good, and let that propel us forward.
The last game against Red Bull, even though we lost, that's what a playoff game looks like. The intensity in that game, the way the game went back and forth, the score changing hands. Both teams had a lot of life, a lot of energy, and I think that's, even though we lost that game, that's the kind of energy and the kind of the way we need to approach the next game especially.
We want to finish the season the right way for our fans, and we want to come out with some confidence after the game.
And Marissa, the Union will have to showcase their depth today due to some injuries in its personnel.
Well, for sure. A lot of those injuries were kind of on the radar, but as with Josh Yarrow, he's going through concussion protocol. He suffered that concussion October 1st against the Red Bulls, but as we heard from Maurice Adu, it sounded like he was going to play. He was slated to start today, but he fractured his left fibula in training yesterday in a non-contact drill, so he will not be available. The team said he had taken training to a whole new level over the last couple weeks. Everybody was very positive about where he was, but in starters-wise, they will have a couple new faces, Dave.
Yeah, and let's take a look at how those injuries impact today's starting lineup with Jim Curtin's 4-2-3-1 formation. And Marissa, there's notable changes up top.
Up top, there are some changes, but what I think is a good sign is that that back line has been pretty consistent for the Union so far.
Eric Ayuk, I saw, loaned to Bethlehem Steel FC. In fact, he scored 3 goals in the USL. He'll be on the left. You'll see Elsinho on the right. And Fabian Herbers, who after the Copa America Centenario play was seen playing up top in the place of CJ Sapong, and he provides a little bit of a different look.
For sure. He's kind of a hybrid type player because he grew up in Europe. He has that more technical, tactical approach, but then he played college soccer here in the States, so he also can play physical as well. So I think it's a cool little approach he takes to the game. I'm excited to see how he does up top.
The Union are on the cusp of going to the playoffs for the first time since 2011, but first they must take care of business against the first-place New York Red Bulls. I'll see you at halftime. Marissa will be on the sidelines with JP Delacamera and Tommy Smith coming up next.